Hello. So the class activity that we're going to talk about today is matching. To match just means to be equal or roughly the same, matching. So, for example, which fish does not match? Fish number 1 and fish number 2 are the same, so they match. But fish number 2 and fish number 3 do not match. So which one is different? Which one does not match? Match, no match. Good. So in your workbooks, you may see matching like this. You will match a picture with a vocabulary word. So this one says matching, draw lines. So what is this? You know what this is. And then as we read down our vocabulary list, we have fish, dog, bird, and cat. So it's not a fish, and it's not a dog, it's not a bird, but it is a cat, so we know we can draw a line. Next, and then we'll just go down the column. Bird. Next is fish. And last, that means the last entries in each column, dog, dog, they have to match. Good. So instructions may look like draw lines to connect pictures. So drawing lines, these are lines. They are connecting point 1 and 2. So to connect the pictures, these are our pictures, to the vocabulary words. These are our vocabulary words in the other column. So this is one column, this is 2 columns. But more often than not, matching from column A to column B looks like a lot of words. So, example, you have a vocabulary word column here, and you have a definitions column here. And so you as a student would have to read pencil. Which one of these, A, B, C, D, or E, describes a pencil? Do students use this to carry supplies? So do students use a pencil to carry supplies? Do they hold this to write with? That sounds right. But again, it's probably important to read through all of the possible answers so we know. Students use this to browse the internet. Is that a pencil? No. This is full of paper for students to write on. Is that a pencil? No. And students use this to color. Is that a pencil? It sounds kind of similar, but we look through all of our vocabulary terms and realize, oh, crayon is also on the list. And crayons color, pencils write, even though these two things are similar. So we know that we can put the letter B here. That goes with this definition. Students hold this to write with in this blank. So it's almost like a fill in the blank on top of matching. So, and then a good trick so you have to read less next time is to cross out the letter that you just used. So you know I don't use this definition anymore. So we did the next one for you. Notebook, letter D. So we'll move down. Notebook, it's something that's full of paper for students to write on. Let's cross that out. Next, a computer. This should be easy. Students use this to browse the internet. And next, we talked about crayon, letter E. And so now we know, because we've crossed off all of these, and we only have one blank left, that automatically backpack is letter A, because we don't even have to read this. So that's called process of elimination. We take away all the other options by thinking about them, and then we automatically know the last answer, process of elimination. Now, another way you can do this is, instead of going from top to bottom on this column, you could go from top to bottom on the definitions column. So, let's see, let's find out what A is, and we know it, and we fill it in. So, these are just different strategies. One is not better than the other, it just depends. One is not right, one is not wrong. But sometimes, if you don't know, well, let's talk about the tips first. So, tips for matching. Read all possible answers before writing anything. It helps us to cross out the used answers, which we saw examples of. You do not have to work from the top to the bottom, which is what we just talked about. it may be easier to start with the answers that you are sure with. So this is process of elimination that we talked about. So, for example, let's go back up here. So if we definitely know what a computer and a crayon are, but we don't know what a backpack is, we can look for the definitions for computer first and the definition for crayon first, and then we have less to choose from. So that's another example of process of elimination, and not starting from the top or the bottom, but starting with what we know, which is always a good place to start. So that is matching.